The news and views expressed herein are the sole property of Kenosha Today. Certain portions of this program may be unsuitable for children, sensitive animals, small animals, sensitive adults, and the general public.
Me? It's right there in front of you.
Viewer discretion is advised. Well, Uncle Scottie, what do you think? Are we ready to go?
Yeah, let's crank it up.
I think we're going to just skip through the intro. Hey, it's the Kenosha Day Daily Update. We're changing a few things and it ain't quite working right. With Uncle Scottie, Barter, and me. Calling our hotline number. It's actually working right now. 262-597-3020. And let's take it away.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Uncle Scottie Barter, and welcome, along with my personal caregiver, Elmo the Insane Schneider. We are your wartime TV hosts, and we welcome you to the March 30th edition of the all-new Kenosha Today Daily Update. Can't believe it's March 30th already. Again, we are coming to...
Hey, it's the last night of alternate side parking in Kenosha. Woohoo!
So if you didn't have enough problems before, go get out, leave your car out there, and I bet you they'll give you one last ticket. Again, we are coming to you live and local this afternoon from the Barter Manor studio, which we will be calling home at least until April 24th, according to the governor's new guidelines. And the Trumpster, President Trump, has issued, that's more social distancing. That was an order, but he says he wants it to practice until April 30th. And apparently we are considered essential people as declared by non-essential people. We are here every afternoon this week at 2 p.m. And as you can see, we are streaming live across the cool and damp cornfields of not only the Midwest, but all across the entire planet. At any rate, we are brought
into outer space as well.
Outer space, that's where we've been most of the last few years. By our major sponsors, Barter's Financial Planning Services and the Union Park Tavern, along with a host of other very fine local businesses. I think we got most of our kinks worked out, but every day we,
we try something new to try to improve it, and it don't always work quite right.
Well, that's electronics.
Yep.
One of the items I think we got figured out is the phone number there, and right now it's still hooked up.
For today.
262-597-3020. We'll take your calls anytime you want to call us about anything. For those who are used to listening to us on AM radio, if you haven't figured it out yet, made a decision about a month ago, we are going to stay committed to the Kenosha area and bringing true meaning to the term live and local, bringing you most most up-to-date news, weather, sports, whatever's left, and entertainment.
Jarts.
I'm going to prepare for the new big Kenosha Today Jarts tournament. Probably get somebody get stuck right in the head. If you want to watch the replay of this show, you no longer have to wait for a specific date or time. Somewhere around the 6 o'clock hour, you can go back and put on Kenosha Today on the Kenosha Today website, KenoshaToday.com, and have at it.
Even a lot of the old radio shows are on there too,
yeah.
So you can relive the glorious past in Studio A.
Call us with
out on Green Bay Road.
Yeah, I wonder if what happened. They moved a week ago, but I wonder if they've renovated that or it burned down.
I don't wonder at all. I don't care.
Everybody can now sign up with the thousands of our fans who have joined us and liked us on Facebook. And it's 43 degrees here in the Kenosha Today Nation. Some good news, the stock market was up prior to this coming up, over 400.
It's probably gone down 400 now that we're on, so.
Well, are you thinking we're controlling the market? Is that what you're suggesting? Yeah, buy Kenosha to Allen Broadcasting stock.
Yeah.
Send in your checks.
Yep.
We're talking a little bit. We got a whole lot of things to talk about. This morning, Governor Evers called to amend his April 7th election laws during the pandemic, and I don't think that's going to fly because everybody's been issued absentee ballots. The old due date was March 18th, and you have to get it to your clerk by, I think it would be the 4th of April. And then, thank God our governor, he decided that he wanted to, I had it right here. Here it is. He lost his, at the city of Green Bay, I believe, filed a lawsuit, and they lost, and the judge said on Friday that it wasn't up to the mayor and those elected officials to decide this. So that's gone. But
To decide what? You never said what it is they're deciding.
Well, okay. To postpone the April 7th election.
Postpone the
Not
election.
My mistake.
Okay.
And our governor wants to make this an all-male election. So the way we think, we don't think that would be fair to eliminate all the females from
That's right. Male voting only. You know, that's his idea. So
all male. I don't think he thought of that.
No.
We'd be picking up on that. So at any rate, he wants to send ballots, and I don't think that's going to fly either. To send in ballots would be a nightmare.
Well, they want to send out ballots to everybody that's registered, including the 284,000 people that have moved on there that they have not stricken from the voter roll as of yet. So,
and then there's.
Can you spell fraud?
Can you spell huge mail bill? I mean, there's.
Well, the clerks say there's no way they can do it. They don't have the money to do it. There's no way they can even think about doing that.
So the deadline to get your absentee ballot to your clerk is Thursday, April 2nd by 5 p.m. Otherwise, it won't count. What do you think his motive? We talked briefly about it, but I still.
Trying to steal the election.
Oh.
It's pretty obvious.
Okay. Well, we ain't going to let him get away with it. State health officials reported yesterday, a total of over 1,000 confirmed cases here in Wisconsin. And in Kenosha, it was only 147, and that didn't change. We only had 19 cases here in Kenosha. I don't think we've had a death in Kenosha, have we?
Nope.
So I guess...
Well, I saw over the weekend last week there were no more cases in Kenosha County.
Well, I'm hoping
we're stalled.
I'm hoping that we have what they call peaked, or whatever they call that.
Those people don't know what they're talking about. They're plugging data that they don't know what it is into computer models that they created, and that's where they're coming out with these numbers.
Well,
you can do that. We can make numbers that'll say anything.
This doctor, the gal with the scarf lady, that she comes on every day with the president, and I don't understand her at all, but I do kind of understand the other Dr. Fauci, or how do you pronounce his last name?
Yep.
And he came out over the weekend and said it could be between 100 and 200. Well, that's kind of a big range there. But do you think, Elmo, that he should be making that assumption? Because that just scares the daylights out of a lot.
The guy's a doomsday guy. That's
he's
what
doing
it
a
is.
good job.
Yep, that's what it. He's gonna say it's doomsday because if it is, he can say I was right, and if it isn't, he says, well, that was because we put in all these measures that I recommended.
It was an
he's
estimate.
So he's right no matter what.
Right. The gal, I have a hard time buying into her, but she seems to be.
I don't watch any of them. I think they're all idiots.
That's my boy. And of course, like I said, Trump came out. In fact, everybody got one of these little cards here. President Trump's guidelines for America, and he extended. First, he said he was going to try to get the country up and running by Easter. I never really thought that was realistic, but he was going to try. And a better way to put it, if your area and your state and your city is not affected, go back to work. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to sit home and collect unemployment benefits. And as long as I'm on unemployment, one of my tax clients called me yesterday. Needed help because when you go to file for unemployment, you have to go online. Very simple, but I wouldn't do it on a Sunday because the hours are only 9 to 5 on Sunday, and everybody is on the website there trying to file their report to get their check from last week. So it's kind of almost impossible to do that. Global deaths are up to 30,000. And the president said he's not going to use enforceable quarantine. That's a kind of a touchy topic. I didn't know the president could do that. I thought that responsibility lied with the governors. But
right. Well, you know what the ridiculous thing? 1/3 of all the counties in the United States have no cases. So why are they shutting the whole country down? Again, I ask every time we're on the show. I ask this: why are they doing that?
That's a good question. Everybody's got an answer. 262-597-3020. And
we got it.
Do we have a call here?
Oh no, that's us.
Oh, that's
okay.
Did we call ourselves?
We have to.
Okay.
So, there we go.
At any rate, of according to Johns Hopkins University, I guess there would be considered a reliable source. There's over 2,400 deaths in our country, and excuse me, the hospital ship made it into New York. You know, and I didn't realize that they had to do all this dredging. They thought it was going to take 2 weeks, and the Corps of Army Engineers got that done in 8 days, and apparently that's equivalent to a whole entire hospital.
Yeah,
and,
it's huge.
Geez. Now we have another.
It's bigger than most hospitals. So.
But there's another one that's heading to California, if I'm correct. So, but coming down the Hudson River, they actually had to dredge it, and the Army Corps of Engineers did a great job. So,
they should have had Sully Sullenberg bring the thing in. He knows those.
We're landing in the Hudson. You know what? That's been 10 years ago since that happened, if not longer. But I'd like to be on that plane. Hey, we're landing in the Hudson, and as long as you're on that. What a fantastic job. Not one person drowned in that.
Yep.
And they actually, the way he landed that plane, and then they were going to try to crucify the guy, saying he had 25 seconds to go back to LaGuardia, and they went to a hearing, and it proved to him, had he not done this, they would have crashed.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. And so, you know, some of these people on these FAA committees and they were after
Government bureaucrats.
Yeah, they were after it.
Most of which have never flown a plane before. So it's.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what? All he did was, he had never landed in the water either. But as I recall, they had a simulator, and that's what they brought into this case. Had you waited and they had the simulator, they showed clearly he would have crashed trying to go back to LaGuardia.
Yep.
So, see, we should have a show. Kind of like that other one. It was on AM. The remembering Kenosha, or remembering the past. Who got killed in 1930?
Forgetting Kenosha.
Forgetting Kenosha. All right, we did talk about that. Some of the cancellations. Country Thunder is going to postpone it for the time being. That's not supposed to be here till the 3rd week of July, and they have another one in Florida. And so they're going to push them all back a little bit. And I'm thinking we got to be done with this June 1st at the latest before, people are they're crazy going in their house. Now, in my case, I've been doing this for 14 years. This is, for me, business as usual, but working out of a house. But had I been in an office, I don't think I would have been able to have that. I saw the H&R Block in Hewitt, the thing that's I was in, it was a Walmart. They're closed. So if you want to get your taxes done, if you can call me, 652-6767. But I've had guys this morning, just put them in the door, and I'll put your check in the lockbox. Okay, it works for me. I've done it for 25 years for this particular couple. So, yeah, I can do that. And don't forget, just as a clarification, April 15th is still your due date to file your taxes. You have until July 15th to send in the money. And again, if you want any of that stimulus money, or whatever, either sent by a check or something, you better get your taxes in, because they're using 2019.
Right, income levels.
If you haven't filed that yet, or you're going to file an extension.
Well, unless you made less in 2019.
Yeah, well, they'll use 18. They'll use 2018, but don't plan on getting that for about 6 to 8 weeks.
Yep.
Burlington had to actually cancel their Chocolate Fest. That would have been in their 34th year. And they used to start that, I think, about mid-May. But then the last couple of years, they finally moved it to Memorial Day weekend, because every time they did it in mid-May, it had rain and etc. So that's too bad, because a little town like that relies on Chocolate Fest to create all the money for all the people in.
It's that way with everything.
Sure. I mean, we got some other things here. They're having a job fair here, Wisconsin Valley. That's our boys up the street. They're putting in
Foxconn.
Foxconn. Well, they're still going to have this April 15th to the 28th. I don't know that that's such a good idea, but I guess the construction is going pretty good, and they're going to need some bodies. So on Saturday,
you could still do. Well,
you can do it online, right?
I don't know, why do they call it? What is it? social distancing. It's really physical distancing. It has nothing to do with how social you are. You can still yell at somebody from
Some bureaucrat
from 12 feet away and they can hear you. That's being social. It's physical distancing.
As we mentioned last week, Amazon's looking to hire 700 people. The only problem is they don't have anybody that's going to interview anybody.
Right.
So, you know, I have to do it all online. And so on Saturday, as I started to say, I'm coming out of Walmart. I'm stopped by the stoplight, and there's a guy in front of me, and there's a homeless guy.
Supposedly homeless.
Well, yeah, he had a bike and was leaning over.
Yeah, right.
And he had a big cardboard sign, hungry and homeless.
He probably lives 3 doors down from you. You just don't know it.
And the guy rolls his window down. I heard him say, "You see that building over there?" And he points to Walmart. He says, "Go over there, and they'll hire you on the spot, and you won't have to sit out here and beg and grumbling. You know, you want a free handout." And then he gives
it's
you
the
the dirty stare.
Yeah, I know this woman. They stopped, and it was at a place, and the guy, "Well, I need money for food." And she said, "Well, there's a McDonald's right here. I'll go in. What do you want? I'll go in and buy you something to bring it out." No, I don't want that. I want the money. So
There was a story of something similar. It was in Florida, and this lady dressed herself up, and she was begging for money in front of this McDonald's. I forget where it was in Florida. So somebody went with a camera, and she went around the back when she was done after a couple hours. She gets in an Escalade, you know, $55,000 vehicle. And can you comment on why you're driving this, and yet you're trying to scam all these people? No comment. Yeah.
Well, I knew this guy. He looked at it in his job. You know, when I had my office in Racine, he'd plunk down on a blanket in front of the where the Chase Bank was. There, it wasn't Chase. I think it was Bank One or Marine Bank, even back in those olden days. Downtown, in front of where the ATM thing was, and people would come along, and you know, blah blah blah. He just I'm a disabled Vietnam vet, and I can't work. Can you spare a couple bucks? So one day I come by, and the guy's getting up off his blanket. I said, "Well, who thought you were I never had given him any money, you know." So I thought, you're disabled. And he says, "Well, no." He says, "I can make more money doing this than I can in a regular job."
Tax free.
Yeah. He says, "What do I do?" He says, "I sit here till I make $100 a day, and and then I take off." So I gave him a $5. I said, "Good job, buddy."
I've wanted to contribute, but right by Union Park. Well, it's Union Park. It's right on 7th Avenue, there by the Union Park Tavern. And remember a couple months ago, there was a guy who was sleeping on the park bench.
Yeah, he's there. We know his whole story.
Oh.
He lives in Harbor Park.
Yeah.
he has relatives there, but he doesn't like. He's schizophrenic or whatever. He won't go and get help from anybody. Numerous people have approached him, tried to get him to, some services and stuff like that. Found out, he's got a brother and sister-in-law. They live in Harbor Park. He's supposed to be living with them, but he likes staying outside. That's his whole thing.
This is in February. Remember how cold it was?
Yeah. No, he just likes outside.
Oh well, good for him. Another thing that's going to affect is the Wisconsin tourism, especially in places like the Dells. There's an article today that came across, and they've been there since 1994, and some of those businesses have been there since the early 1900s. And if they don't get this thing wrapped up, everybody's got bills. They got payments to make, and
we got nobody to ride the ducks.
Yeah, that's true. That's what no one say. And then you got the water parks, you got the fudge shops and the restaurants, and then like boat and duck
Tommy
tours.
Bartlett's turning over in his grave. Oh my God!
And then you also have all of those shops that are up there in Door County.
Door County told them to stay away.
Oh, they did.
Oh yeah, they don't want them up there. So did the area around Minocqua. They both said, "Nope, we don't want." All you people from Chicago that you got your vacation homes, nope, don't bring it. You're all infected down there. Don't bringing it up by us.
I think the governor better change the sign on as you're coming into Wisconsin.
Go away.
Go away. Yeah, we're closed. We're closed. 262-597-3020.
Yep.
And again, the Brewers. I don't know if they have announced if baseball is going to come back. I got a feeling it's going to be by June 1st, but. Again, with nobody having any money, and I suggested this marketing concept on Saturday that they should roll back the prices. Miller Park is here since 20 years, and I think they should roll the prices to the seats, the concessions, the parking, and let the players take a prorated portion just for this year only and bring some fans, because you're not going to get anybody to go to Miller Park first of all, they don't have any money coming out of the heels of this thing, but
Well, getting all those big government checks. Come on.
yeah. Well, that's just my opinion, and of course, I've heard stranger recommendations from guys that are coming out of Washington, Madison.
Next time your granddaughter calls it, you ought to ask her how she feels about having to pay for all this, because that she's going to be the one doing it. So
I talked to her in a text, and she goes, I just talked to my mother. She says she didn't buy me a car. And I says, you're right. The car was for your brother. She got the schools, they're not coming back for a couple of weeks. So
Nope.
I don't know that school is going to be back anytime, in its normal time.
go all summer.
Yeah. Well, that's going to upset a whole lot of people.
Too bad.
Yeah. Well, some states, I think it's 180 days. And you have to be in school 180 days, but I think they're going to probably waive that. They have an Easter break coming up pretty quick here, and if they can resolve this, well, start teaching online. I think the teachers in Wisconsin, if I'm wrong, call me. They're still getting paid, I think.
Yes, they are.
So some of them are getting paid very handsomely, but
Oh, it's better than in Chicago, where the union said, here's our deal while this thing is going on. We want to get full pay, and we don't have to do any work.
shocking, they came from Illinois.
That's Chicago Public Schools.
Oh, yeah, well, didn't they see in Illinois, teachers can strike, and I think they just had a strike, I thought it was within
Last fall.
year. Last fall.
Last fall they did.
And they shut them down for a couple months, I think, or 6 weeks. And in Wisconsin, you can't do that.
Nope.
It's against the law. And according to this article, especially the hotels, 44% of the total hotel workforce nationwide has already they've lost their jobs. So if you want to, there's a perfect example again. Why don't you just turn them into hospitals? Wash them down a little bit. You're looking for beds. I mean,
Oh, they're doing that.
in some places, yeah.
I heard they're going to turn the dorms at Harvard into hospitals there.
Well, they also have the dorms at like Carthage or Parkside that most of those kids have already vacated. They say you're not coming back for this spring semester. So I've got one room left upstairs. So
No,
it's
you
the
can't.
well, what?
Well, no, it has to be an immediate family member that you live with.
That would mean I'd have to marry somebody, Elmo. That ain't going to cut it. No. That ain't going to work. Is that what it is? You have to have an immediate family?
Yep. And your daughters are grown, so that's out of the,
Well, what if
unless they were to move back in
what
here.
if I take on a domestic partner? I'm challenging.
Walt or Bubba?
Oh, look at that. No vacancies. So, there's some suggestions on what to do with the hotels. And in Wisconsin, they said about 18,000 jobs. Well, that's direct hotel operations, and 48,000 total have been lost so far. And it's, this next couple of weeks, except for Florida. But the kids went down there and break, and they've been on the beaches. And even my granddaughter said they're in Hilton Head, and they didn't close their beaches. And like we said last week, Elmo, you got to take you're 21 with raging hormones, and you got all these naked women.
And this whole thing, these people they're trying to eliminate all the risk. There's a risk in every single thing that you do. Even if you go out, you're at the risk of getting the flu. You get in your car, you're at risk of getting killed in a car accident. You'll walk down the street. There's a risk that a dump truck's going to fly off the road and smash you down dead. You're walking down the street, some guy may rob you and shoot you in the head. There's a risk in everything you do, and there's no way to eliminate all risk whatsoever, which is what these people are trying to do. These doctors that get up there, that's all they care about. They don't care about cost, quality of life, anything like that. Their whole focus is on stopping this thing, and they don't care how miserable they have to make people in order to do it.
Well, so I remember my daughters would always be concerned when I'd walk on the golf course. So, it's too hot. Don't do this. And just what you just said about my fear is not dying of a heart attack on the golf course. It's getting hit by one of those gravel trucks that are coming down 142 to get out to Brightondale, and if that load shifts,
that's it.
I'm squeezed. We'll take one more story and then we'll go to.
That's the whole thing. And it was radio host Dennis Prager. He says I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of not living life.
So I like that. That's a quote.
And the way they got it right now, people aren't able to live life.
Right. I can understand, at least from my point of view, New York City. I can, because they are the worst, and then California. But here, we'll have more people die of, and they're usually older people, of cancer or whatever. So I don't wish anybody.
Yeah, do you hear what one of the worthless TV networks did? I can't remember which one. It's one of the big three.
Other than ours?
Yeah, it's one of the big three networks. They put a story on about how horrible the conditions are in New York City, and they were showing video of a hospital in Italy.
There's fake news. Before we came on, I just heard in New York City, they have this, it's not necessarily a quarantine, but it's a social distancing, right? So all the schools are off. And so what all the kids were doing is going to the playgrounds playing basketball. Well, now New York officials saying we're going to take down all the basketball hoops in all the playgrounds.
Didn't they do that in Kenosha?
Actually, they did. You know what they did? That was under Bosman.
At Lincoln Park.
At Lincoln Park,
they took the basketball hoops down, and there wasn't even a pandemic.
No, well, there was people were
shooting
suffering
pandemic, maybe.
Yeah,
But
people were suffering from lead poisoning in those days. So they took all the basketball hoops down. They did put them up, and they had a big to-do when they brought it all back. So I think that's going a little bit too extreme. But in Kenosha, I will commend Mayor Anaranium and County Exec Jim Cruiser and their staffs for really doing what I think is a good job. They pick up my garbage on Monday. Normally I'm out there at 9:30. This guy's breezing past. I didn't even get my garbage out there at 8 o'clock. So I got to, that's when I
got no snow to plow,
I still don't understand the purpose of this. We talked last week when Walgreens had a person that tested positive for the virus, and then I forget there was another one, and now all of a sudden Woodman's. I just don't see the purpose of suggesting what the business is. If anybody wants to disagree with me, 597-3020.
Yep.
And most of the places, like at the pharmacies, are having big plastic things that you have to push your money underneath there. And where was in one other place that had plastic thing? I forget what that was. That was a liquor store. Not that I'm not in the
Well, I
sauce
had to go to a pharmacy this morning and go through the drive-through to pick up a prescription for one of my parents, and it, fortunately, it wasn't the kind that you had to take a second mortgage out for, because they have some prescriptions that are that expensive. But no, it's pretty cheap. So I just, slid the money in the drawer thing there. And
they weren't even the thing wasn't even open where you could go in.
Oh yeah, I could have gone in if I need it.
Yeah.
But I just, I didn't need anything else there, so why bother? I'll just go through the drive-through.
Well, I guess shame on me. I think
but the whole thing, I get the change back, and it's in a plastic bag.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep. It's a little Ziploc bag it came out in.
I think I'm invincible, and I should be wearing gloves when I go shopping. That's about the only place I go. And I should be wearing a mask, because generally, like when I went this morning at 9 or 9:30, there's virtually nobody in the place. And I use one of the handy wipes and wipe down the cart. But I'm only buying 4 or 5 things at a time, and I see everybody else in there with the masks, and I get all that, but I'm going to live forever.
They keep talking about all this testing. I was talking with a friend of mine that grew up with a couple of guys in my band, and a certain local radio talk show host was over there, and and his brother, and all these guys hung around together over there, and they used to do this type of test that they would give to somebody. They would sit at Petsky Park and play poker over there with their kids, and if somebody got caught cheating, they would give it
A whopping.
No, it's a certain kind of test, and which was, I think a lot of the politicians should do this, and it's the real test to see if they have this virus or not. Is that the other guys would hold him on the ground, and they would ram dirt clods down his mouth, and then take a stick and ram him down there until he went, ooh, 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 ooh. So it's known as the Lou test, because he'd be going, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Although it's funny, I think, well, that teaches a guy not to cheat
at cards. That's
right. You want to take a break, or should we just keep going?
No, we can take a break. I can
take 2 minutes.
Yep.
Take 2 minutes, and we'll come back and do some weather.
Yeah, I can. The music fire's up there. All right. All right, let's come back here.
We're back.
Yep. Oh, we are.
Once again, a very good afternoon to everybody. This is Uncle Scottie Barter, along with my personal caregiver, Elmo the Insane Schneider, and we welcome you to our Kenosha Today Daily Update, which we plan to stream live here every afternoon at 2 p.m. And it is 30 minutes after 2 here in the Kenosha City Nation, bringing you the best, or as best as we can, in news, weather, sports, entertainment, any stories that we can make up. And we are governed a little bit by what we can say. In fact, I got a text message from our former video coordinator, Spider Ron, and he said that we look yummy, Elmo. And was I too strong when I
That's
called
what
him?
I was talking about. No, you're talking about getting your domestic partner in here. That's the...
Oh, he said you and Elmo.
No.
Well, I responded to him. I called him a bitch. So shows him. Anyway, we invite you to join the thousands of our fans who have signed up and joined us on Facebook. And we are brought to you by our major sponsors, Barter's Financial Planning Services, the Union Park Tavern, along with a host of many other very fine local businesses. We invite you to give us a call with their questions or comments during these very troubling times. Our new number, as you can see, 262-597-3020. Today's Kenosha Radar Weather is sponsored by Capo Web Design, which is a locally owned website, web design and development business here in Kenosha, specializing in website design, development, maintenance, and site services and support, who actually designed and is currently developing our site, KenoshaToday.com. And for more information, you can visit www.capowebdesign.com. And from the Barter Manor weather deck, it is 48 degrees here in the Kenosha City Nation, and it's just a little overcast. Tomorrow, only a 20% chance of rain, and the temperature high is going to be 39 degrees, low is 34, and then Wednesday, high of 45, Thursday 46, Friday at 54, and it looks like we may have just turned the weather here. I mean, as long as it's staying above freezing during the nights. Hey, what's the deal on the on like We Energies? They can't cut your. There used to be a certain time when they couldn't cut your lights and your
Yeah,
windows, I think they extended it now a little bit.
Yeah.
But wait, Spider, he misses us. And there you have it, folks, directly from the Kenosha Today Weather Deck here at Barter Manor, the most up-to-date and the most complete weather report anywhere on the planet. And you can tune in to Kenosha Today for all your weather information, or when severe weather strikes, which
if we happen to be here.
If we happen to be here, unless we're doomed. I can always remember, that's what I can tell when almost might have been a little over his third. We're all doomed.
Yeah.
That's the tip-off, anyway. And so if you're on your own if you have severe weather. Which brings me to another problem. You know, we haven't even gotten into our spring, like, tornado season in a lot of places.
Yep.
So if the virus don't kick you in the ass, you know, wait for a tornado to come around. And, I mean, we'll get through this.
Virus NATO. I can see a new
A virus NATO, yeah.
We had Sharknado, why not Virus NATO?
Well, if in some of those places, like in Iowa, Indiana, and some places that are, or even in Texas, Kansas.
Yeah, they've had them down south already.
Yeah, but if they get
Nashville, look at that, a couple
weeks
ago.
Just a couple, and that's before we even got to the virus. So now here's something really troubling, Elmo. This story is trying to tell people what to do with their stimulus check. You know, people are smart. They don't need to have articles like this.
No.
Hey, here's what we recommend you do. No. Most of the people can do it. They're going to do whatever they want. The last time.
How about cancel your subscription to whatever idiot wrote that article?
That's right.
Right there. Who is that?
This did not come from the news, I don't think. Not the Kenosha News. At least I don't think. You know what? Actually, it was on their website. But last time.
Yeah, that makes sense with the massive amount of content that they have. So.
You know what? I got to tell you this. I get my newspaper that's delivered to my front porch, and then I was so in a flux to take my garbage to the curb, I can't find what I did with it. I don't know what I did with my newspaper. And so I'm going out there. Maybe I put it in the trash. No, it's not there. And so I went online and probably did a better job getting their news.
You and Captain Mike, he used to do that all the time. He'd go outside and get his paper, he'd bring it in, he'd put it down somewhere, and then he couldn't find it.
Well, I took it out.
He'd find it like 3 days later.
I took it out, and I just, I don't know what I did with it, but I'm razor sharp. Just ready to slice my wrist. But I remember in 08,
Sharp as a butter knife.
when I got $600, I stimulated myself and bought myself new golf clubs. So maybe that's not what it was intended. And
Now, if you could only use them.
I still have them too. It hasn't been.
No, I'm talking about the golf courses are still not open. So.
Yeah, we're still upset. You know, there's a lot of people are upset with the governor with that deal. There's no reason why these golf courses with this early spring that we're having, and the grass is starting to green up a little bit, and you know, it's all by kiosk and all by what do you call it? Credit card. Let them go play golf. It's a great way to get out of the house. Let's see. I think I exhausted all my stuff on that one. Yeah. All right. This is another thing about podcasts. Podcasts and live streaming. This is a thing that's coming. And it's actually already been here, but like I said, had I known...
It's becoming more mainstream.
That we could have done this. And I didn't realize at the time AM radio was kind of very dwindling off rapidly. We could have done this a couple of years ago. And our plan is still for $99 to come into a business on a Saturday morning and do a 2-hour and promote your
after
business.
all this garbage is done with. So.
Probably not going to be till mid-May.
At a minimum. So
And,
we still have some fine tuning to do here too, and some other equipment to get, which I spoke to you about earlier. So it'll be a finely oiled machine by the time.
yeah, we'll be oiled, all right.
Yeah.
I was talking about unemployment, and you can go on their website, and here's their hours of operation. Their online hours: Sunday 9 to 5, Monday through Friday 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. That's just to get online. And Sunday's the day.
Why do they limit the hours?
Online? I don't know.
It makes no sense whatsoever.
I was shocked when I saw this. I thought maybe that was office hours, but clearly it says online only available to apply for the benefits. So now every week on Sunday you have to call in, log into your account, and
It's like Amazon saying, well, you can only order stuff during these hours.
I don't know. So
Stupid.
and of course then I did. You know what I was doing yesterday? I filled out my little census card. This thing, you go online, it takes you 5 minutes. There can't be more than 10 or 12 questions. Now, last summer I had a gal come here, and I don't know if she had her little medallion and badge, and I wouldn't let her in the house because I was afraid that she would try to attack me, Elmo. And so I just did it, I left her on the other side, but I didn't know, if you don't send this in, there's a possibility that they will come knocking on your door.
They'll harass you by mail for a while until you do it, and then they'll finally, in August, they'll send somebody around. And,
there is an importance to do this, and I think as long as we're close to the election, that's one reason, right? To have an account.
It's what your representation in Congress is based on.
Right. Oh, that's right. Every 10 years. So
every 10 years, they can redistrict then. And
10 years ago.
Well, look at Illinois. All the people flee in the state down there. They may lose a couple of seats. So
10 years ago, it was up to our city council they redistrict Kenosha, and that was the guys.
Well, it's after they redistrict the whole state.
Right.
And
so then the city will redistrict the city. Well, the way they did it, they took the chairman of each of the committees. So you had guys like Meisner, Ruffalo, Badala, and that whole group in there. And
they make a mess of it.
Oh my God, talk about gerrymandering. They were, because depending on who was going to run against them, they went right around the guy's block.
Yep.
But now we're stuck with that, at least until this stuff gets done.
2021.
As long as we're talking about that. Yard waste, now everybody's yard waste drop-off sites delays their opening until April 27th. That's the one out on Highway H, 88th Avenue. And that probably would have started now, I think, is when you can start taking your brush. And now I guess you don't have to bundle or bag it, but that's not going to open until Monday, April 27th. Oh yeah, brush no longer needs to be bundled. Curbside
pickup starts.
There was a chance that I was going to be moving last fall, and I have this whole bunch of boxes that I can call the Public Works, and I think you get 4 times a year where you can just take this stuff to the Parkway.
Well, they have
They'll come
large
get it.
object pickup, like if,
Yeah.
if you got an old couch or a mattress with pee stains on it, or just something like that, you can put that out on the curb and.
You been looking in your house again, or a wife that you're not getting along with. Just put a toe tag on her, and away you go. With this story, Aaron Rodgers went with some friends to Peru, and he got out of there 15 minutes before they quarantined everything down. So I appreciate Aaron Rodgers coming back, and you know what he does? He gives himself a self-imposed quarantine with Dana Patrick. Man, there's a guy who's really...
Well, that's what I would question. Why didn't you take her down there?
Yeah.
There's no road races going on or anything.
There
like
is now. I wouldn't mind making a pit stop with Dana Patrick. Well, they're engaged, I think, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, we talked last week about price gouging. And this is way out of line. Viagra in a place is going for $60 a pill. And at the local, our local pharmacy that we deal out of a red panel truck, we can get those out to you for probably 39 cents or 69 cents a pill.
$60 a pill?
Yeah. Boy, you got to really. I'm not making that up because I was shocked when I saw that. But $60 for a pill.
They've got all these online places now. They advertise all the time on the radio. What the heck? They just
You don't even need a prescription, do you?
They give you one online. You answer like 5 questions.
Do you have VD? No. Have you ever had VD? No.
No, that has nothing.
Oh.
Can you walk up a flight of stairs? Somebody told me that's one of the questions.
Really?
Yep. If you don't have the stamina to walk up a flight of stairs, they figure your ticker isn't good enough.
The disclaimer.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know that. Well, I might have to investigate that. And of course, then
they just want to make sure you don't take one of those and have your heart explode and keel over or something like that.
which then they would. I'm sure there's a disclaimer on the bottle or whatever, and says, if your heart isn't good enough for sex or strong enough for sex, my mind is good enough for sex, but my heart might be. And a little iffy now.
Anything else?
My later years. And the churches are being criticized because Easter Sunday's like 2 weeks away, and the church. This one guy that was on the cable channel yesterday saying the churches are essential. We should have them open, especially during. So they sit 6 feet apart. So church attendance at some of these places is so sparse now. But I think a lot of these churches are going to have to close because of the festivals. If they decide to cancel all those, some of these small parishes around here make a couple $100,000. And without that, and without the weekly church plate, and see, I am a faithful churchgoer, as you are, right, Elmo? Mm-hmm. We go to Our Lady.
I do radio church.
Radio church.
Now here's a thought. What do you think the effect on mankind would be if God came in on Easter Sunday morning, every sign of this Chinese virus was gone, everybody was cured, no more people died?
It's a miracle.
That's right.
Hey,
there may be a purpose to this.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Maybe Trump wasn't too far off when he said, I want to open by Easter. Maybe he knows something that we don't know. We'll find out. This was a story I just got before we came on. This guy's in the UK, and they are quarantined in this particular small city. He's dressing himself up as a bush. He's to go log crawling so that he can get outside. And they showed pictures of this guy on the internet. What a moron. He's dressed up as a bush and going like this. I think that's taken out. I talked about the hoops.
Well, it's one place there. There's nobody watching the goats, so they're roaming the streets of the city. You got goats all over the place.
See, now you won't find that here at Barter Manor.
It's a good thing Gunga's not over there.
He gets. We've been talking all last week about the coming in the more popularity of streaming and live streaming and podcasts. Here's a patient sitting. They're going to be doing telemedicine. It emerges during this crisis. So I think everything is going to be done online at some point in the future. I'm talking about medicine, treating people, and if you just open up your computer like there, and you got this. You can see if somebody was watching us. So
you can use that title of that famous Frank Zappa song. Click, 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 click. Why does it hurt when I pee?
Yeah. Oh. Coming from a former band member, I can see that.
I don't want no doctor to stick no needle in me, Elmo.
And some other news, if anybody cares. Transit, the buses are still going out in their normal routes. Fare door-to-door services is $2. You know, another business that's hurting is the Uber and the taxi cabs.
Yep.
You know, we should have Anthony Kennedy join us now that he's. You know, can they still work? Is that considered essential or non-essential? Cabs, or they are.
Yep.
Okay.
They're considered in Wisconsin at least. Every state has different.
Yeah.
Except for Wisconsin, just like Ohio, because they copied exactly what Ohio did.
Okay. And just one word of caution, we'll end the day with this. Alternatives like wet wipes, paper towels, facial tissue, cloth wipes, and substitutes for bathroom toilet paper are not to be thrown
flushed
down the commode. I mean, you're flushing, you're plugging it up, and it gets caught in the sewer system.
You have a poop-capolypse.
Why did I have to end the show with that? I guess that was the last one on the thing.
I got to get that sound effect in here, you know, the toilet.
Yeah. You got anything else, Selma?
Nope.
So that's going to wrap it up for our March 30th edition of the Kenosha Today Daily Update. And we want to thank our sponsors, Barter's Financial Planning Services, the Union Park Tavern, Kenoshans for Open Honest Government, and Charlie V's Kids for Cancer Treatment Foundation. And we have been streaming to you live this afternoon from the Barter Manor Studio, located on the corner of Happy and What Went Wrong. And so for Elmo and myself, until we see you tomorrow at 2 p.m., we thank you for the privilege of your time. And I'm Scottie Barter, and have a very pleasant and safe afternoon.